I'm Misha, and I wanted to talk about why I'm not the healthiest vegan in the world and what I'm going to do to become one of the more healthier vegans in the world, if not the most healthy vegan in the fucking world ever. So, with nothing better to do, let me talk about this. So, I've been sick since I was like 6 months old. Well, not the whole time, okay, but on and off. I've struggled with a lot of different health problems since I was a baby. And I was put on antibiotics probably once, maybe even twice a year from the age of 6 months old to 18 years old. At least once a year, something would come up and I'd be prescribed antibiotics. So that's a lot to deal with right there. I started going vegetarian in my early 20s. Now I'm 28, and I was experimenting a lot in my early 20s with different types of veganism, and I think that raw food veganism did not help me in particular. I think that I was getting way too strict, and I just wasn't able to get enough calories on that diet, and there was just too much water, not enough calories, and I just found myself not thriving very well on a raw food vegan diet. Maybe other people do, but I wasn't doing as well on that. I've also struggled with a back injury and a neck injury that I got like about 5 years ago, and that causes me a lot of pain, and pain causes me to lose my appetite. So I probably don't eat as many calories as I should. So even if I was eating meat and dairy products, I would probably be struggling with that same exact problem. And I think that a lot of my health problems would be a lot worse if I ate meat and dairy. For example, my ear infections, they went away for a long time after I went vegan, and then they started to come back. And I think that it's my body's way of detoxing, because I actually got rid of like a tumor, and that happened like 2 years ago. And I feel like I might have another one in there that wants to come out. And after my childhood, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of blockage or obstruction in there in my ears from just years of impacted earwax, and my body's like saying, now that you're vegan, we can get rid of this shit. Now that you're vegan, we can work on this stuff. And you know, before I was a vegan, my body wasn't really trying to deal with it. It was probably just trying to survive. So now that I'm a vegan, it's taken hold. Another thing to take into consideration about me is that I was tortured by doctors as a child. I'm a victim of malpractice. I hate dentists and dental work and stuff. I was just given way too much fluoride and stuff when I was a kid. I'm really afraid of all that stuff because I was pushed into, you know, trying to survive on my own in adulthood and stuff with a lot of health problems. And that really traumatized me and stressed me out and made me feel like, wow, not only do I have to work and go to college, but I have to deal with all these health problems I graduated high school with, like feeling like I was gonna die from like some kind of stomach cancer, even though I didn't have stomach cancer, but just like my stomach just always felt terrible until I went vegan. And now I don't have that anymore. There's a lot of issues I don't have anymore, like I used to have horrible ovary pain every single time I got my period, and I never have that anymore. Like, it used to be throbbing, like my ovaries would just start just throbbing every time I got my period, and I no longer have that. Also, I used to get dizzy in the shower. Like, every single time I took a hot shower, I'd get dizzy, and I no longer have that problem. I used to when I ate meat and stuff, and I went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with anemia and gave me iron pills, which really hurt my stomach. And ever since being vegan, I haven't had those issues that made me go to the doctor and get diagnosed with anemia. But I don't really go to doctors that much anymore unless like I'm pregnant or something. But anyway, yeah, I I haven't struggled with the symptoms that would make me want to go and see if I'm anemic, so I really don't think I am anymore. And I never feel dizzy or weak when I'm taking hot showers, and I don't get dizzy spells like I used to when I was on my period. Sometimes I do feel weak when I'm on my period, but I don't feel dizzy. So there's been a lot of improvement since going vegan. But there's also been some struggles. I've struggled to eat enough because of my pain from my injuries, and also I do have some underlying things that maybe normal people would go see a doctor for, but I just, like my ear infections. But since I've been on so many antibiotics like my whole life, I just don't want to be prescribed antibiotics again, because the infections just keep coming back. So I don't want to do it that way. I want to heal myself from the inside and do it the right way. So that's why I haven't really seen a doctor about that. And also I have a wisdom tooth back here that gets better and gets worse. And sometimes when I'm really, really, really good about taking care of it, I can get to the point where it feels really tight and in there, and it's like starting to knit back together. And then other times, if like I eat some sugar or just anything, or if I don't brush my teeth right away after every single meal, like I have to be really like vigilant about it. I have to brush my teeth right away after I eat anything. I have to brush my teeth like 5 times a day. I have to put things on it regularly. And when I am really good at my tooth care, I do not feel bad. I don't have any issues with it. But if I don't brush my teeth after every single meal, then it starts to loosen up and I do start to feel like an infection in there. And that's on the same side that I have a really bad ear infection. So it's probably related. But I have read a lot of things about healing your teeth and stuff like that. But if you want to just be like a mainstream vegan and go to the dentist and go to the doctor and whatever, you might be better off than me. You might be worse off than me. Who knows, you know? But just make sure that when you look at each individual vegan, each individual person, you take into consideration their story, what they've been through in their life, and, you know, not everyone is perfect. I think I look pretty good for 28, and I don't have an obesity problem even though I'm injured, even though I had twins. I have a pretty flat stomach because I don't eat meat and dairy products, and that's about it. I only do moderate exercise. So I'm a good example of what somebody would look like if they only got moderate exercise and ate a really good healthy vegan diet and avoided sugar and all that weird stuff. So you can get pretty far with diet and not doing a whole lot of exercise, which is, you know, important for people to hear, because a lot of times people look at these, you know, Instagram people and whatever, and they work out a lot, and that's great and that's good for them. And if they miss the vegan message and that, and sometimes, and think, well, I could do that and eat meat, and maybe they do try. But I think that veganism by itself can go a long way, and then you can use exercise to make that even better, which is what I'm trying to do. I feel like my body is a little bit stagnant because I don't exercise enough. Even though I'm vegan, you know, that's not 100% everything. You have to also get exercise, and also don't eat vegan junk food too much, which I don't do, because as soon as I eat any vegan junk food, my ear just feels like shit. But as far as like getting some exercise, it was good to, you know, keep your body from being too stagnant. You got to get the blood circulating, you got to get your lungs breathing in and out, and sweat and stretch and move your muscles, and, you know, stretch out your muscles so you can release some toxins out of your muscles and different stuff like that. So it is very, very important to get exercise, and I do not get enough. So just keep in mind, not all vegans are the same person, and if you want to look at some really healthy vegan bodies, you can look at Nimai Delgado and Bianca Taylor. I think those are some of the healthiest people I've seen who are vegan, and there's other people too, but I really like them, and I'm really drawn to them, really drawn to their energy, and as a couple they just have that magic vibe going on. And you know, they eat cooked food and they look awesome. So I'm eating cooked food. I feel great about eating cooked food. They even eat a lot of soy and tofu, and I've started that too because I feel like I wasn't quite focused enough on protein, just because being a vegan so long, people say, oh, there's protein in everything, you don't really got to focus on it. Well, maybe I took that advice a little too far, and I think that I feel better, I feel more grounded, I feel more healthy, and I feel like I could gain more muscle mass and become a stronger person when I eat a little bit more protein. And just make sure I get that in, get in those beans, get in those lentils, get in that tofu. It feels good. And it feels good to look at some healthy vegan bodies. Women who are not obsessed with looking super skinny, I think it's better to focus on building muscle than to focus on like how thin or how lean you are. I think people get lost in that, especially, you know, in this vegan movement, when it could be about compassion on animals more than like having the leanest body. And sometimes these people with lean bodies, I don't think they look super sexy. And I think they're just trying too hard to have a lean body. And maybe that's why they maybe do this raw vegan thing. If it's working for them, great. But if you're just forcing yourself to eat a bunch of fruits and salad, and you're tired of eating fruit and salad, and you want something a little bit more dense with less water in it because you've had enough water today, you're hydrated, you're not thirsty, you just want some bulk, but you're still forcing yourself to eat only fruit, and because you want to be lean, I think that's a little bit counterintuitive, and maybe people need to think about that more, what they're doing, you know. But I could probably get some more water in my diet anyways. But yeah, it's always good to have balance, to figure out where you're at and stuff, and it is good to eat high amounts of raw vegan food. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat raw vegan, but I'm just saying, like, trying to be 100% raw vegan or trying to be really strict about your vegan diet could be detrimental. So anyway, compassion, number one, compassion will give you good karma, and good karma will give you good health, because once you don't eat meat and dairy products, that's a huge benefit. So I think that worrying about being too strict on top of that can kind of outshine what that is in and of itself. That is a really big thing. That is a really huge thing to not eat meat and dairy products, and you can get far just doing that alone and not being too overly, I guess, I hesitate to use this word, but orthorexic. I've been there though, because I've had such severe health problems that I know what it's like to be afraid to eat everything. And when I found out soy isn't even bad for you, I felt so silly, because I always felt good when I ate tofu. But I told myself it's bad because I read all this misinformation and disinformation, which really can damage people, because I could have been eating more soy this whole time. When I wasn't making enough breast milk for my kids, I could have given them soy formula instead of cow's milk formula. But I was afraid, because I heard, you know, soy has a lot of phytoestrogen in it, and it's not very digestible and all this stuff. And even as a vegan, I was like, shit. I was so stressed out, and people had treated me like shit during my birthing experience, and I had so little support, had to do so much housework, and really wasn't being taken care of after, you know, my husband did as much as he could, but he had to go back to work, and I just wasn't making much milk, and had to make more. You know, I have 2 babies to breastfeed, not just one. If I only had 1 baby to breastfeed, trust me, I would have made enough milk, but not 2. I was making enough for maybe 1.5 babies. And I didn't want them to be like slightly malnourished just because I couldn't make enough for 2 full growing boys. That was hard. So I made the choice to give them some cow's milk formula over soy milk formula because I was afraid of soy milk, even as a vegan. So now that I'm like, whoa, maybe soy isn't bad, it's like a big deal to me, and I feel upset. Anyway, peace.